14,053. How to discern your partner during a marriage interview, matchmaking. Question 1. In this K Global Leader Academy, our team conducted a comprehensive study on married couples. In the process of dating and moving toward marriage, men and women try to treat each other well. Most people consider marriage and form a bond because the other person treats them well. But once they actually get married, the partner changes before long. As a result, many families seem to experience conflict and even end up in divorce. Living for the sake of the other person feels public altruistic, while simply treating them well feels like a private selfish sentiment. When we meet someone and interview them as a potential spouse, we want to receive your right teachings so that we can clearly discern whether that person is trying to live for our sake or simply trying to treat us well. Thank you.
When we study this Hongik-Ingan humanitarian philosophy, we try to treat the other person well. The intention is good, but it absolutely never works out that way. You cannot truly treat someone well just by trying to treat them well. Why? Because the very desire to treat someone well is, in itself, greed. If I treat someone well, what happens? That person will say, "Thank you" to me. You are trying to receive that validation. You have no idea how massive of an energy that is. If you receive applause and words of gratitude afterward, and you do not repay that energy, you will fail by that exact amount. It means you must pay the price. We see this happen a lot. Celebrities receive applause, become immensely popular, and even amass great wealth, but later they collapse completely. If you have received that much energy from people, what you do for them from that point onward must be of a different quality. If you just keep singing songs and only making money, you will get hit by a blow from nature. This is exactly how these things happen. Therefore, instead of trying to treat others well, you must strive to equip and refine yourself. Now, you might be striving to refine yourself, and you find this Dhamma Yungbeop talk or lecture so wonderful because it is so good. You want to force it upon the other person. Then, you expect that person to accept it. But this does not work well. Why doesn't it work? It doesn't work because you are doing it the wrong way. Then, what is the right way and what is the wrong way? Because you listened to it and loved it, you tell the other person to listen to it, but that person hasn't heard it before. So how would they know if it's good? When you become wise and equip yourself a bit, your method of approach changes. Say you have a close friend. You now know that this is something great. You can say, "My friend, I'm not quite sure how I should listen to this. Let's listen to it together." You share it like this. If you do it that way, anyone will listen with you. Let's listen to this together. Even though I know about it, I don't fully understand it yet. Why do this? Because your friend might discover something in it that isn't right. While it is good to you, it might not be good to your friend. So, you ask your friend to listen to it together, to see if it is truly correct and sound. If you do this, are you receiving help from your friend? Or are you giving help to them? You are receiving help from your friend. Why? Because when that person encounters it objectively and says, "Wow, those are really good words," they are confirming it for you objectively. Since they confirm it, you can say, "Right, that's why I listened to it, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't just liking it all by myself, so I came to you." Your friend will be thrilled. You didn't show off or act arrogant. Instead, you approach them to verify it together, so you are doing something together. This is what true friends do. Even if something is correct, you must tap on it and verify it together with your friend to see if it is truly right. Just by responding and participating, your friend is being incredibly helpful. While you feel grateful, your friend has also listened to it, so they now know what it is about. Because they know, they become closer to you. In today's society, if you know something that the other person doesn't, you grow apart. If you think something is wonderful, but keep it to yourself while the other person remains in the dark, a distance creates between you. You must know how to approach people wisely like this. The same goes for your parents or your children. You should receive help from your children too. Why? Everyone around you is meant to help you. How do they help? Not by giving you money, but the people currently closest to you are the ones meant to research these things together with you. You approach your family, your children, your younger siblings, your older sisters, in this exact way. I listened to this recently, but I'm not sure how to process it. I would really appreciate it if you could listen to it with me. Then, you have a cup of tea together, and they will agree to listen to find out what it is. Why? Because the sibling feels they need to explain it to you, or the mother feels she needs to listen and teach her child what she knows. Because everyone around you has different thoughts and different talents. You listen together to see if you can find common ground. Don't explain whether the content is good or bad. Just listen together. Even if a product or a lecture is turbid and low quality, if you ask a friend to check it out with you, and they willingly plunge into listening to it with you, how grateful should you be to that friend? Even if it is turbid, they are listening to it simply because you asked. That makes you incredibly grateful to your friend. But upon listening, if it turns out not to be turbid but full of rich spiritual nourishment, your friend's response will change. Because you approach them to search together, your friend ends up discovering it too. As these experiences spread, and people who love it gather, their strength unites into one, and everyone begins to grow close. There must be people here who have experienced this firsthand. For instance, a daughter-in-law dealing with her mother-in-law. Perhaps the mother-in-law was very stiff, rigid, and unpleasant. But somehow, this lecture was passed on to her, and once the mother-in-law listened to it and absolutely loved it, she began to deeply cherish her daughter-in-law. Such things have happened. Because the daughter-in-law shared and helped find what the mother-in-law needed, the mother-in-law loved it so much that she valued her more than her own daughter. As they approached each other this way, the conflict between the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law vanished in a single blow. This is what makes a great lecture, the teachings we actually need. This is Jungbeop, the right law. Therefore, when we approach people, let's not act like we know everything. Instead, approach them with the attitude of, I might get deceived somewhere, so I'd love it if you could verify this with me. Nowadays, no matter how good something appears, we must tap on it, verify it, and then proceed. How do we know where it might lead us? The world is full of such uncertainties. If my friend steps up to verify it with me, what could be more precious than that? If my family verifies it for me, it's the same. As you move forward doing this, the right law naturally permeates everywhere. Truth permeates in this manner. Once that person listens to it a bit more, they will eventually start explaining it to you. From then on, you become grateful to them, you become close, and that is how it works. So do not try to recklessly propagate or deliver it. Instead, approach them as if you are verifying and reviewing it together.
Question 2. Through our research, we felt that the initial interview, the first few meetings, is incredibly important. So when we interview or evaluate a potential partner, is it correct to do it in the manner you just described?
When we meet, a connection, an affinity is formed. But how do we become close? If you force yourself to get close, that is unnatural. In this current era of Jungbeop, such forced relationships will soon be returned to their original places. We had a growth period, and now that growth period is over. In this era, if you live correctly, things will be fulfilled. If you live incorrectly, you will be sent back to square one. Suppose you forced yourself to make money because you wanted it so badly. Later, when you face your life's test, all of it will be taken away. That is the kind of era we are in now. Succeeding superficially doesn't mean you have truly achieved it. Right now, even if you drag something to yourself by your own raw power, if it was not earned correctly and is not used correctly, it goes back to where it came from. Life becomes difficult. In that sense, when men and women date or when friends socialize, there must be a shared story or common ground to bring them closer. If you meet someone from the outside and want to get closer, there must be a story you build together. Using Jungbeop for this is incredibly powerful. You can say, I recently encountered something like this, but I'm not sure how to solve it. I'd love for us to listen to it together. Since that person wants to date you and you want to date them, bringing something you can do together and saying, let's listen to this, is what they will love the most. Then, you deliberate on it together. Why? Without deliberating and consulting with the person you are dating, how can you verify whether they are a decent person or not? You have to do something together. You can do this through these lectures. We engage in a program together. If I spend 30 minutes doing something with someone, a synergy is created, and we naturally become closer. If we do it for 3 days, we become even closer. If you find a program you can do together and engage in it, closeness happens naturally. And if we spent a month excitedly doing this together because we loved it, no one can tear us apart. We have already become close. It's not that I artificially tried to get close, rather, we found a common task. And when we did it together, and because the other person already wants to like you, when you suggest doing it together, they will approach you incredibly fast. They will make time for it. Because they like you, nature has granted them that time for you. They might say, I don't have time for other things, but I have time to meet you. When people like each other, time allocation works that way. Therefore, during a first meeting, or when you meet a new connection, you look for something to do together. For those who hold this right law, if you use this to listen together or share conversations about it, you will naturally become close, even without trying. Once you become close, that power multiplies. If another person joins and becomes close because of it, the power grows even greater. That is why we are now in the era of convergence. If you converge, you can move with great mass and accomplish grand things. In this day and age, an individual can manage to feed themselves alone, but they cannot achieve anything greater by themselves. You must unite your strength. The more you unite, the greater the work you can do. Therefore, there is nothing better than this Jungbeop to find a source of common sharing. Do you understand?